Hello, boys and girls. Here we are again, trying to do another egg. Let's hope this one works better. We've had our blue egg, egg number 1. And do you remember what was in the first egg? That's right. We had Jesus riding into Jerusalem on the donkey. And the riding in on the donkey was a sign of kingship, because most everybody walked in those days, and it was only royalty, kings, and very important people who rode a donkey or a horse. Egg number 2. Do you remember what was in that one? Let's see if you can see it. That's right. It was money. Coins. And do you remember the name of the person who promised to show the people in the temple where Jesus was if they gave him money? That's right. It was Judas Iscariot. And how many coins did they give him? 30. Our next part of our story of Holy Week is the story that has a cup in it. And the cup is a symbol of Jesus giving us Holy Communion and Mass at the Last Supper. Right before he gave us Holy Communion, before he celebrated the Mass, he had washed the feet of his apostles. And then he said that somebody was going to betray him. And they were all asking, "Is it I, Lord? Is it I? Surely not me." We do that a lot of times too, don't we? And finally, Judas leaned close to Jesus, and Jesus said, "Go, do what you must do." And Judas got up and left. And the other apostles just thought that Judas was going out to buy something for Jesus because he kept the money for the group. All right. After the supper, Jesus was sad. He knew that he was going to die the next day. And so Jesus asked his friends to walk with him out into the garden to pray. And he said, "Pray with me for an hour." And he left them at the edge of the garden, and he went in further, and he prayed and prayed. He talked to his Father in heaven. And 3 times he came back, and every time the apostles were sound asleep. While they were in the garden, we know what happened. Judas came. And Judas walked up to Jesus and gave him the kiss of friendship. And Jesus said, "Friend, do you betray the Son of God with the kiss of friendship?" And then Jesus was arrested by the soldiers. And he was taken back to the praetorium, back where the governor was. And at first they said they found nothing wrong with Jesus. Let him go. But no, the people hollered no. And then they said, well, take him out and whip him. Just beat him up. Flog him is the word that's used in the Bible. And so they had this long whip. And it was probably longer than this. And they whipped Jesus or flogged him. Another thing they did at that time was they took and they put a big purple robe around Jesus, probably an old dirty one. And then they said, "Oh, if he's our king, let us give him a crown." And so they took and pulled down from a thorn tree. They broke off a branch and they pulled it all the way around, just like this one is around. And then they hooked it together so that it would stay. And they pushed it down on Jesus' head. And it hurt. It really did hurt, boys and girls. But Jesus willingly did that. He accepted that. It says, Can you believe that some of the same people who were praising Jesus as God on Sunday were now calling him a wicked person? They decided if Jesus really was God, he would save himself from having to die. But Jesus had made it clear that he was on earth to do his Father's will. We should never, ever, boys and girls, believe others when they tell us there is no God or that Jesus is not really holy and good. Don't listen to people like that. Read the Bible stories. Listen to what Jesus tells us. The Bible is what we call the living Word of God. And all of our Christian churches really do a lot with the Word of God. They read from the Bible every weekend when we go to church. Our preachers read from the Bible. They preach on the words of Jesus. They tell us what it means. And God would really like us to also read the Bible, to read the words that Jesus said, to read about what happened to him, to read the stories of God's great love for his people. Now, my dear boys and girls, pre-K, if you have your hard copies, you've got a crown of thorns, and you can see all those thorns sticking out. And that's what went down into Jesus' head. First grade and kindergarten, yours looks like this. And we had the whip the other day, and now we've got the crown of thorns. First graders, yours is behind the plastic divider in your binder. And second grade, you have this one. What was in egg number 6? And what does it mean to me? What does that symbol of the crown mean? Think about it before you answer. Maybe even talk to Mom and Daddy or Grandpa or Grandma about it. Come up with what that crown reminds you of, and then write it right here in this space. Write a couple sentences. Be sure to use capital letters. Use periods at the end. A period that says, this is it. This is what I believe. A period with an exclamation mark above it, which says, whoo, this is really important. Or a period that has a listening ear above it, asking a question. And first graders, on page 172, you have this lovely picture. You may color this picture if you want to. I Meet Jesus has a whole section starting about Jesus washing the feet of his apostles on that Thursday night. And then Jesus at the Last Supper, sharing the bread, sharing the wine, giving us Mass, giving us Holy Communion, taking the bread and wine and saying, take this and eat it. Take this and drink it. This is me, completely. Then we have Jesus out in the garden praying. He prayed and prayed, and his apostles kept on sleeping. And then we have Judas coming to Jesus and coming up to him and giving him the kiss of friendship. And Jesus saying, friend, do you betray me with a sign of friendship? And you know, boys and girls, the kind of kiss that Judas gave Jesus, that's still done in that part of the world, in many parts of the world. A person doesn't shake hands the way we do in the United States. They don't say, hi, how you doing, the way we do. But to a good friend, they come up and they kiss them on one cheek and then on the other cheek. And that is a good sign of friendship. Remember to be true to your friends. Don't turn against your friends. Your friends are important. Be true to them. Help them. Be kind to them. All right. And with that, I will go and I'll have another lesson on another day.